Hey there, Internet. Our Felix Finch here once again, and we are at an Underground Lucha Things, a Lucha Underground Retrospective, where I, somebody that never watched Lucha Underground for some reason, goes through the episodes individually, one by one, singularly, and experiences this unique product. And speaking of unique, we are here with season 1, episode 8, a unique opportunity. But you know what? Someone might want to have some context to this. So I have with me from Midcard Mana, my good friend, Angie FN. Angie, how are you doing today?
I am good. Thanks again for having me on this show.
Right, and again, you're watching this show again with me, but you've watched it beforehand. How's the experience rewatching these episodes? Because I'm guessing you haven't watched a lot of them since the original air date, or do you have the DVDs? I don't know.
No, I do not. This is my first rewatch in quite some time since it first came out in 2014. So it's definitely been a trip to remember all of these performers as who they were back in Lucha Underground, and then thinking back of, or I don't know if thinking back's the right way of saying it, but looking at where they're at now, you know, you can see a lot of them in other promotions, mostly in WWE, but some are in AEW, some are in Impact. So just getting to see that again has been really cool.
Right.
And watch that growth.
Right. And here we have an episode from December 17th of 2014, a unique opportunity. And this show starts with 10 wrestlers in the ring while Dario comes out to make an announcement that the competitor...
Danny Trejo's still there also.
Yeah,
let's not forget.
Yeah,
He's a believer.
You're right. Danny Trejo is still there. I didn't mention that because they do mention him a few times in commentary. But yeah, he is there, sitting front row. Must have had the day off from his vegan taco place. And Dario does say that the competitors are going to square off in a 10-way match, and that later tonight we're going to get 10 luchadors facing off in a different match, and the winners will face off for be awarded a unique opportunity at the end of the night.
A unique opportunity.
Right.
Let me just say, I love Dario. He's just such a good, smarmy, sort of weaselly authority figure. Just so good. So good. His delivery of how he cuts promos or makes announcements just really, really just cinches things together so nicely. I think Lucha Underground as a whole is a great show, and you can really see the contributions of each and every performer, whether they are a wrestler or an actor or a different fighter that now is doing wrestling, so that kind of stuff. I'm a fan.
Yeah, like I said on the first episode I had you on, and I said on the ones with Brittany, I said this in the first episode actually, having an actor as the main authority figure really works because he doesn't have to try to be anything other than an actor. It does so well, and this match starts. Everybody tries to take out Big Rick, but he throws everybody off except for Mascarita Sagradas, who's still there trying to fight him.
It is 9 masks and 1 Big Rick.
Yeah.
So the 10 are Big Rick, Mascarita Sagrada, Son of Havoc, El Mariachi Loco, Superfly, Drago, King Cuerno, Prince Puma, Pentagon Jr. and T.
I did not realize, you're right, that everybody except for Big Rick is wearing a mask.
Yeah. I think commentary mentions it, actually. Because I remember having that moment of like, oh, that's true. Everyone else. And I was like, nah, it can't be everyone else. And I'm like, no, it is everybody else. They're all masked except for Big Rick.
Yeah, and
yeah, they, like how you said, they pile up on Big Rick, but he pushes everyone back except for Mascarita Sagrada. And he tries to wear him down. He just goes for the knees, like all of us short people do.
Yeah,
we go for the knees.
Yeah, he goes for a hammerlock, tries to take out the knees. He tries to go hold for hold with Big Rick. It's pretty awesome. There's a lot of big flying moves everywhere, though. Everybody taking a chance to get their shit in, but Also, you get to continue some feuds such as Cuerno and Drago. We get a,
Oh yeah,
we get a lot of ultra fancy moves from Son of Havoc and Prince Puma, and
Son of Havoc looks great in this match.
he does.
Let me just
he
say,
gets to show off.
M Dog is a talented performer, and I think it's easy to forget that in the first couple of episodes of Lucha Underground. He has little moments where he shines in his individual matches, but he can never really seem to pick up that win. But he looks great in this match, and not to go too far back, but I loved my move. I liked is when Drago and Penta were going at it, and then Penta tossed Drago out, and Drago landed on Cuerno. I was like, man, even when they're not fighting each other, they're fighting each other.
Yeah, no, my one gripe with this match was that Prince Puma, Superfly, and Fenix were all wearing some version of like yellow and black at the same time. Well, at least Fenix and Superfly were wearing much closer matching because Prince Puma still had kind of those leopard spots on him.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too, and it is interesting because it kind of, I think, it shows. I shouldn't say shows, but it forces you to pay a lot closer attention to make sure you understand who's doing what, and it also tests your knowledge of these characters already. Prince Puma is a little bit easier. Fenix kind of easier. Superfly definitely the one that is the most new to the temple, but just seeing, I know that Fenix moves like this. I know that Puma moves like this. So being able to pick out that, even if you can't see them with everything going on, I think I like that kind of stuff. It's a nice challenge. It challenged me to make sure that I can understand a wrestler.
Yeah, and you talk about your spot of the night. My spot of the night was a really cool Tower of Doom variant. Two of the luchadors run to the outside and like sweep the legs of the cornermen, causing the actual Tower of Doom to happen. But Fenix is the one that ends up getting the win with a pile driver on Prince Puma, and it's kind of interesting that they have a face pin another face for the win.
Yeah, and especially between Fenix and Puma, who both, especially when you look at them now and look at their career trajectories, both have very similar kinds of reputations in the business as being really talented, high-flying performers.
Right.
So definitely a treat to get to see that interaction. The other, and this spot mostly was another spot I liked, partially because of Penta, partially because of how commentary sold it. But when Penta hit the lung blower on Mascarita Sagrada, and I think Stryker just yells out, "Pancreas blower," I just laughed. It was so good. Again, another example of how commentary can really add so much to a match.
Yeah, we'll talk about how it can take away from it later as well.
Yes.
But we do get another video package for Cage, again showing off his working out. And again, at this time, I think this was like the first time I would have seen Brian Cage as a big buff boy, because before this I would have known him as a Wolverine knockoff of Chris Logan in FCW, because he was signed to FCW beforehand. And
yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and we have Conan berating Prince Puma in our well-lit locker room.
This hurt me, just the sadness in his eyes as Conan's just like tearing him apart.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
Like, that was supposed to be your match, and you keep getting up these opportunities. Maybe they're not going to be there for you next time, and neither will I. And I was just like, Conan, no!
Yeah, and that is something that we also had that was a little strange here, is that Prince Puma, I've noticed that Prince Puma does not speak. Like, he has to do all of his expressions through his mask. Now, I don't know if that's going to continue throughout the entire run of the show, but I did notice it a first few times. It's whenever Conan says something that in any regular situation would garner a response from another person. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in the way they play this all out. But up next, we have another...
The Boyle Heights Battle Royal.
Yes, another 10-man match, which is a Boyle Heights Battle Royal, which Sexy Star starts on the outside of the ring with an attack on Chavo, and everybody else starts brawling. Mystery Leather Lady shows up again, just kind of watching, and Pimpinella gets the first elimination by taking out Famous B.
So the 10 in this match are Johnny Mundo, Chavo Guerrero, Jr. Those are the two that actually, I think, get their own entrances, I believe. There's Sexy Star, Famous B, Pimpinella, Carlota, Ricky Mandel, Cortez, Cisco Bale, and Mil Muertes.
Right, and we have, like I said, the Mystery Leather Lady shows up, and it becomes heel heavy really fast.
Yeah.
With pretty much Johnny Mundo being the only heel left in there with like only face left in there with like 5 heels. We get a very scary moment here when it's down to Johnny, Mil, and Chavo. There's a springboard move from Johnny that causes Mil Muertes to hit a suplex on Chavo that Chavo takes completely on his dome, and that scared the crap out of me when I saw it happen. Yeah. Like I physically cringed and winced at that because I'm pretty sure that wasn't how he was supposed to take it.
I remember seeing that too, and I was like, just my spirit left my body for a second. I was just like, but again, it just goes to show, and I thought that really actually worked to show the ruthlessness and brutality of Mil Muertes. You know, just an absolute monster.
No, for sure. And this also match, what you know what this match really is? It is how many ways can Johnny Mundo not get eliminated? Because he is obviously the targeted one here, and he's given an opportunity like every 2 minutes to avoid elimination in a new and different way. But it gets to be too much. The final two are Mil and Mundo, and they get a lot of time to work. But Mundo is eliminated with a lariat, making Mil the winner. No Katrina lick this time, though.
Yeah, which was disappointing. But you would think that's it, but that's not all for the episode, right? Because then there's Dario Cueto comes out and congratulates, Mil Muertes for surviving his match, and then Fenix for surviving his match, and gives them both another unique opportunity.
Right, and that's one thing I want to talk about. So we do find out that that in 3 weeks, when Lucha Underground returns from its break that they get, in the first match of the new year, they will have Aztec Warfare, which they haven't explained yet. All we do know is that 20 people will be involved, and the winner of this match will get the opportunity to enter at number 20 in that match, and the loser of the match will have to enter at number 1. And they'll be fighting for the Lucha Underground Championship, which this is my first time actually seeing the belt.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it is clearly a belt. It ties into the aesthetic and theme, but maybe I'm just too conditioned from the belts I've seen all throughout the years. But the belt doesn't look that good to me. But then, I haven't seen like AAA belts, but it's just the belt doesn't inspire like big dreams of grandeur. It's just, to me, I don't know why it looks a little like a toy.
Opinions vary. I like the belt. I like how different it looks from a lot of traditional belts, and I thought it worked with this sort of narrative they're trying to put on. And when he explains, the significance of the belt, and especially setting it up with the man that survives Aztec Warfare will be the one to get it, really, to me, hypes the belt in a different way than an aesthetic change would.
Right. And like I said, my criticism on that belt is all aesthetic. To me, it just came off as a bit toyetic, as the major wrestling bros would say. Mm-hmm. But this match is 2 very different styles of luchador, because you get the brawly classic the brawly power luchador going on against the very flighty, springy new age. So you get fight versus flight here.
And this match took up less than 10 minutes. It was in the last, within the last 10 minutes of the show, they announced it. and then finished it. And of course, these two men have already wrestled tonight and survived their own different matches against 9 other luchadors each. So being able to then come in the main event and still perform, props to both of them. One totally random thing that I noticed that unnerved me was Fenix is as tall as Mil Muertes. And it's so strange to see that, and you see them both standing in the middle of the ring next to each other, and you're like, they're close to the same height, if not pretty much the same height. And yet it still feels like it's such a David and Goliath match anyway, because of how built up Mil Muertes has been, as this huge sort of juggernaut-like monster, unstoppable. He's never lost yet. And Fenix being a lot more aligned, I think, with Sexy Star. I don't know if that may be, especially because she has taken a lot more of the push, I guess you could say, that he doesn't quite seem at that same level as Mil Muertes yet.
Right, I can
definitely interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that, and I will say that we have, like I said, we don't really get a lot of advantage from Fenix outside of the beginning when they go flying out and landing next to Danny Trejo. The rest of it is Mil kind of teasing Fenix and just drawing out his suffering before finally getting the win with a flatliner. And we get our Katrina lick to end the show. Dario and in the show, and as the show ends, we cut back to Dario in that unknown cell talking to that unknown person and about the belt. And it goes off with that. And that was the show. What were your thoughts?
Upon rewatch, I was more hyped about it because I knew that the next episode is Aztec Warfare, and I loved Aztec Warfare the first time that I watched it. I'm a big fan of those styles of matches. I'm a big fan of Battle Royale too, and getting to see those really big matches where you see people interact with one another that you never would have put in a match or that hadn't been in a match yet before. Going back to the first 10-way match with Big Rick and Mascarita Sagrada, getting their interactions in, as ridiculous as it seemed. I actually liked that kind of Havoc looking great in that match. And then you get the second match, right? The Boya Heights Battle Royal, where you get to see, maybe a couple of bigger names with Johnny Mundo and Chavo and Sexy Star and all them. And then getting to watch as they're all tossed out and really building up Mil Muertes, building up a lot of other people, allowing Pimpinela Escalata to get an elimination or two in there as well. I thought this was a really good performance episode in the sense that a lot of people that didn't get as many opportunities to shine yet or show why they're talented and why they're here, they got that opportunity in this episode.
Right, and like you said, whenever you're dealing with a large number of people, it's important to remember that stories are going on, and I applaud that they did remember stories were going on. They continued, they continued some of these running plot threads that have shown up in this first. I think, no, this isn't even a halfway point in the season. I'm trying to think of how many episodes are in the season 1. We're not even at the halfway point. We're not even at the quarter point. And we're seeing these stories really have a lot of dedication put towards them. I did even like the bit of humor with Big Rick and Mascarita Escalada. And overall, this was a fantastic episode. The end, I thought, was an interesting challenge. So we know that Fenix will enter Aztec Warfare next week. From what I've just been able to pick up from the context in this episode, or at least in the last 5 minutes where they're explaining some things, I'm getting that Aztec Warfare is a form of Royal Rumble. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, but that's the kind of feeling I get for it.
That seems like the implication that you would get when, they tell you that one man's going to, now Fenix is going to be the first one to enter, and then Mil Muertes is going to be the last one to enter. There's not as many kinds of matches that have that sort of format where, people enter at different times. So who knows? It could be a royal match or a battle royal. It could be a gauntlet match. Who knows? It could be an elimination match. You'll just have to wait and find out.
Right. It could be
episode 9.
It could be the there's actually a match I love, the N64 No Mercy Battle Royal that Inspire Pro has, where it starts off with 4 people in the ring, and every time someone is eliminated, the next person comes out. So it's like the old 4-player in No Mercy.
Nice.
And everybody comes out to the No Mercy No Mercy video game music. Again, it's a lot of fun. But you know what? That's it for this episode. It's been a lot of fun. Angie, let everybody know where to find you.
All right. I am on YouTube as part of Midcard Mana. We are 2 wrestling fans over here on the island of Hawaii talking about wrestling. Sometimes we have other people call in. Sometimes we don't. You know, we're trying to figure things out as we go. And I'm also part of Valley Isle Collective on YouTube as well, in which I'm the odd man out there. Everyone else is on the island next to us over on Maui. And we talk a little bit more broadly on topics. We don't do as many reviews. We do a lot more of group talking about heel-face dynamics, good entrance themes, botches and their significance, how they can sometimes make or break wrestlers, etc.
Awesome. And I am R. Felix Finch. You can find me everywhere as Frisco Flame, or you can find me as R. Felix Finch as well on Twitter. You can, you're on my channel. Hit subscribe. YouTube.com/Frisco Flame. If you're listening to this in its audio version, go over to YouTube.com/Frisco Flame. You can see our faces, see how we feel about these underground lucha things. Oh, and go to FriscoFlame.com. Buy these shirts, including this wonderful tri-blend here that comes in 4 different colors. And let me just get a little flex on. All right. And coming soon, I will have pins. You see these many pins? I will have some of my very own. Might even have them by the time this episode comes out. Who knows? But anyway, peace out, party peoples. For myself and for Angie, we will see you next time.